Thank you for finding the time.
I will admit, it's not entirely unpleasant seeing you again.
Hello, everybody. It's your boy, the Punk Otaku Scribe. Daredevil Born Again has dropped its first 2 episodes this week, and I got quite a bit to say about them. But before I get into this new show, okay, I have to let something be known. Alright, I was not a fan of the Netflix show. Yeah, I'm that weirdo that didn't like the Netflix Daredevil show. And after all these years, I'm hard pressed to think I'm the only one in the world that does. Because everyone that I've encountered that has seen this show loves it so much. And personally, I can't see it. I don't really get what everyone loves about this show so much, but it just doesn't work for me. Not being such a big fan of the Netflix Daredevil show, I wasn't too thrilled to hear that it could be coming back within the MCU canon. But then, at some point, they mentioned that it was going to be a complete creative overhaul from the Netflix show. It was just not going to be related to that at all. And my interest kind of peaked a little bit at that. Like, what are they going to do? Because back when they first announced it, that they'd be doing this, that was when I still had a bit of, hope that the MCU could still do no wrong. And then they said, no, never mind. Now it's just going to be a direct season 4, and I kind of soured on it again a little bit. But I was still willing to give it a chance. Because I liked the characters showing up in other Disney Plus stuff. I didn't really bother with Echo, but I did watch She-Hulk and Hawkeye. And whenever Matt Murdock and Kingpin showed up in those, I thought that was kind of cool. With only 2 of the 9 episodes being out right now, this review is actually going to be spoiler-free. I'm just going to be giving my general thoughts on these first 2 episodes. And when all the episodes are out, I'll get into the spoilers and what I liked and didn't like in depth. But in general, what did I think? Meh. So to clarify what I mean, these first 2 episodes are vastly different in quality. One worked for me, one didn't. That first episode had so much about it that was so tonally similar to the Netflix show that it didn't quite work for me. Just the pacing in the writing, it needed just a jolt of life put into it. Like, everyone in it needs to drink a coffee or something, right? And there's an event that happens in this first episode that it broke a lot of people's hearts, and I'm not going to get into it, but if you're a fan of the Netflix show, it's really going to tear at you. For me, it didn't, because I feel like, especially going into the second episode, they're not really going to expand on it at all, and it's just going to make it pointless. And so far, that's what I'm seeing, is that it's going to be a pointless event that happened to separate itself from the Netflix show. And that just rubbed me the wrong way. Not because it happened and it was sad, but because I'm so far not seeing a good payoff that could come from it. And I was almost about to say, maybe this show's not going to work for me. Until near the end of the episode, an event happens that carries on into the second episode, and it starts doing some things narratively that I really wish they would have done in the Netflix show. The writing is really doing some cool stuff for the street level side of the MCU. The event in question that I'm talking about is Wilson Fisk becoming mayor of New York by the end of the first episode. I will say that it felt a little rushed to me. At one point, he's talking about running, and then at the end of the episode, the election's over and he's won. And I thought that would be more of a season arc thing. But the fact that it isn't may serve the show a little bit, because after he becomes mayor, in the second episode, he starts enacting some things that start to have a ripple effect in this show, and I think it's going to for future shows ahead too. But they're already taking advantage of that here in the writing, where a vigilante does a crime, or at least is accused of a crime, and Matt Murdock decides to represent him in a trial to prove his innocence. And it's such a great woven story of corruption thus far. I was really engaged this entire second episode, and I couldn't help but think, man, I really wish this was what the Netflix show was. Like, the pacing was on point, the stakes were high, and Charlie Cox was amazing in it. I found him kind of stiff in the Netflix show, at least in that first season. He did get better, but I overall just wasn't a fan of his Matt Murdock. But I'm really liking his Matt Murdock here, especially in the second episode. If there's one carryover from the Netflix show that I actually appreciate being in this show, it's Vincent D'Onofrio's Wilson Fisk. He was one of the only things of the original series that I liked, and he's back here and hasn't missed a beat. Vincent D'Onofrio's performance as Wilson Fisk, aka the Kingpin, is one of the coldest villain performances I've ever seen, and I'm even talking about from the Netflix show too. He could have played it as corny comic book mob boss villain, and he doesn't. He plays it just like a stoic mob boss would act like. He is every bit of imposing and scary and intimidating as he wants to be. And I love it so much that he's been getting as much exposure on the Disney Plus side as he's been getting, because I love his portrayal of this character. I really want to say a lot more, but I don't know how much I can say before it starts getting into really big spoiler territory. So I think I'm gonna end it there. But overall, I thought that these first episodes were, together as a whole, just okay. They kind of balance each other out, because that first one didn't work for me at all. That second one really has my attention, and it has me wanting to watch more. So I'm gonna keep watching, and I'm not gonna do an episode by episode thing. I'm gonna wait till all the episodes come out, and once they do, that's when I'll really get into the meat and potatoes of the spoilers. But what are you thinking so far of these two episodes if you've seen them already? What did you think of the Netflix Daredevil show? Odds are you probably loved it and think I'm a crazy person for not loving it. Let me know what you thought down in the comments. Let's talk everything Daredevil and the MCU and Marvel down there, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.